Rasta Reasoning CBT here again. Greetings, people. In this video, I'm going to just be talking about how I got to where I got to. It was a request from somebody who just wanted to know, what my experience was as a black male going through the UK education system, forging, all the bits and pieces, I suppose, which makes me who I am today, and qualified on paper, basically. So I started my educational journey as a adult. I think I had to go back to night school and do English and maths, the level 2s. I had to do those. That took me a year to do. I didn't do the maths there, sorry, I just done the English level 2. Obviously I was okay, and I just didn't pass. I didn't take my GCSEs, but it doesn't really matter, to be fair. Once I done that, I applied for college. As I was an adult, I went straight onto an access course. It's known as an access course. I done an access course in social science and humanities. Basically, I done sociology and psychology, and I had to do mathematics as well. Obviously, because to be a nurse, to be any medical professional, you need to know your numbers, all the basics of them. You get me? So I had to do maths again. Once I done my access course, I passed my access course first time. I done that in Birmingham Metropolitan College. Big up. One of my lecturers, I'm gonna name him, man. His name's Michael Woods. Yeah, sociology teacher, top man. But yeah, past that anyway. Done sociology, psychology, thoroughly enjoyed it. In that same year, I remember, I think it was coming up to Christmas, you have to apply through UCAS, which is the UK's equivalent of basically getting you into university. It's making your application for university. UCAS is, if nobody's ever done it, you can Google UCAS and get further information on that. I'm not going to go into it. So towards the end of that year, when I started, basically, so I started in September, and by November, December, they were asking you to write a personal statement for your university entry. I applied for 3 or 4 universities or something like that through UCAS. I got into 2, but I got into the one late, and I started the other one before. But again, doesn't really matter because the same uni that. Anyway, I'll get there in a bit. It's done that anyway. UCAS end of the year. By next year now, this is after Christmas, I'm still in college. I'm doing my exams, things like that. You have to study really hard, obviously. That part I didn't experience any issues because you know what, it was pretty much a level playing field, to be fair. College, you're used to college as a black male. You go college, you go school. It's after college and school, I think, where we start to kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable, and we start to experience certain things, which I'll explain to you in a little bit. So when I got into uni, basically picked a couple of them. My degree of choice from the social science and humanities access course was social work, a BA in social work. So I got into my BA. I done my 3-year program. Came out with a Bachelor of Arts in social work with honours. I was applying for jobs, basically. I remember a couple of the girls that I went to uni with, and they were all applying for jobs, and I think a couple of them got jobs, and I specialised in children and families, basically. So I was looking for jobs in children's services, basically. Like I say, a few of my mates got jobs, and I was like, why, go on, but yo, still ain't got nothing. So I was on my own journey anyway. And lo and behold, somebody introduced me to somebody and said, got a social work degree. These people are looking for CBT therapists. I didn't know what CBT was really at the time. It was a job basically. They were looking for, a postgraduate kind of like level to go back to university and study for a further qualification, which I did, and that was in the same year that I literally finished university, um, and like literally done it back to back basically. So I just clapped it all out. Obviously, with the help of my woman at the time and my kids, man, I can't thank you all enough. My family at that time, so get me through. What else did I do after that? So got into university, done the postgraduate in psychological interventions, which then qualified me to be a low intensity cognitive behavioral therapist, if that's the right, yeah, low intensity CBT basically. So that qualified me to obviously assess and treat people with mild to moderate um, uh, mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, any social phobias, and kind of like mild phobias as well. Um, so that was basically it, really. That's my journey. Obviously, I'm on I'm a professional now. I'm practicing as a social worker at the moment. I still do bits and pieces for CBT. I do like CBT, but I don't think I'd ever work back in, under the framework of the NHS anyway, unless they paid me, which they do, to be fair. When I get contracts with the NHS, they do pay decent money, so I can't knock the NHS and their rates of pays for therapists and CBT therapists. I enjoy social work, to be fair. It's more holistic. The assessment process, you get to spend a little bit more time with that person, and you actually get to plan with that person as well. Their package of care, their support, their personalized kind of like outcome, if you like. So they come in the door, and I literally work with them right up until, and I do the review as well, and then I put them into a system where they're okay, and any hiccups, obviously they'll come back through the generic system. That's social work, really. CBT, I wasn't able to do that. A person would come in, and I was pressured to like push that person out of the other end in recovery. Recovery means kind of like on paper, basically, they were better. They were clinically better in 6 sessions, sometimes less. Yeah. Some of the people, depended where you were based, basically as a therapist, were a little bit more difficult than others, and I don't say that in the sense of they were rude, but they just had more complex issues that they were presenting within in clinic. I've just got a few notes here. I'm just gonna take a look. Yeah, that was that. Okay, so as a black male in the UK educational system, in one of my previous videos, I talk about self, and it's all about. I think the key is basically, if anybody's thinking about following my path or taking a different path, go for it. Yeah, that there'll always be a job out there for yourself. Not necessarily you have to work for local authorities or the NHS systems as well. There are ways where you can become independent. Like I say, I was a therapist for 6 years. I didn't sign a permanent contract. I always had my own contracts coming in, thank God. I was never short. I mean, right up until the other day, to be fair, we're talking days ago, I was offered, like, I don't think it was probably small to some of the big time therapists that I rub shoulders with, but £25 an hour, that's what they were offering me, basically, and that was to work from home as well, basically. Yeah, so my experience, it was tough. because I had to learn a different language. Um, I'm first generation Jamaican. My mom, my dad, they were born in Jamaica. They had me, bless them, over here. I went to school over here. I experienced, tokenism over here through, white educational establishments. When I say tokenism, do this, or you can run 100 meters faster, like them things there, like it goes on in schools. This is why I don't really like push my kids into, sports and football and things like that, because there's always an ulterior motive. You understand? And yeah, okay, we're black, yeah, we're stronger, yeah, we're quicker than the average. Um, but you know what? It doesn't mean that that's our destiny, innit? I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah. Um, I was almost, I suppose, almost stopped, and psychologically damaged. I remember the teacher, and I'm gonna draw him out. I swear down. Yeah, his name was Mr. Rudge, Mr. Ronald Rudge. I always remember him. He was a maths teacher, and the man turned around and he told me I was gonna be a drug dealer. Yeah, and that's a maths teacher in a secondary school in the UK. Now, if that didn't damage me psychologically as a child, yeah, with my perception of what I'm going to be when I leave school, and how these people think about me, yeah, and then what they see in me, um, you know, it was difficult. So first things first, you have to be quite strong-minded. You have to be willing to learn. Like I said, I had to learn a whole different language. I remember being in lecture rooms with people that have got psychology degrees from, Oxford. When I found out there were two Oxford, there's actually the Oxford, or is it Cambridge? I think one of them. I don't even know Oxford. I think it's Oxford or Cambridge. One of them's the official one, and one of them's called like Brooks, basically Cambridge or Oxford Brooks. Those who would know would know. If you know, you know. Yeah, and then that kind of like made me laugh, because this particular guy, yeah, he was boasting, I've gone to this university, that university, mate, and he's giving it all this spiel in the lecture rooms, and blah, 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 speaking away, and blah, blah, you understand? And I was there like, I can't understand, like, but I could. The difficulty was they couldn't understand me. In my rawness, then in my whole, me, like I said, first generation. I grew up in a household that was speaking patois every day, every minute of the day, and then I had to adapt, and then go to school, and then speak the Queen's English. You get me? I mean, there were times when I'd get in trouble at home if I didn't speak a certain way. I swear down. So in that sense, my experience through the UK education system, I wish I had a better one, to be fair, to pull it like short. I know the person that asked for this request probably wants me to go in a little bit more depth, but you know what? I'd really need people to ask me personal questions about that. Don't be afraid. I'm pretty open-minded. I'll tell you the truth as well. So it was difficult, man. I experienced, like I say, tokenism from a young age, racism, and that continued right up until I qualified. I've experienced, sexual harassment as well in the workplace as a black male, because you're black, and these unheat, middle-aged women, yeah, don't know how to control themselves, bad man. And I want to do certain things and in the office, but if it was on the flip side, even problem. So it's not for everybody. Like I say, you have to be strong in this thing. Another example is, I work in a industry which is dominated of women. Do you know what I mean? And Reg, I tell you straight, yeah, if you're not strong, you know what I mean, like, what, you'll see some women coming in the office in some skirt that you're like, boy, you feel look dumb. I fight them all day. You understand? But if you're not up there, you can get yourself into problems, brothers and sisters. You can get yourself into problems because we're special people, man. We're not normal. You know, and like when if we shout, yeah, we shout louder. If we kick harder. Remember, if we punch harder. If you understand, like everything's like amplified for us as our people. So just remember that was like that a lot of that was my experience. You know, going through education system. Um, do I think it's going to change? Would I encourage people to go through the education system? Yes, because we're in a place where we speak another language. We need to learn their language. We need to learn the language that they use against us, that they have been using against us to, you know, oppress. It's not just our people, you know. I'm telling you, if I was to really sit down, right, and I could probably, let's just get one, just off the top of my head, somebody that leaves prison, then the laws around prison, and like the support. I was speaking to somebody the other day about this particular topic, the laws around males leaving prison and the support, and women leaving prison and their support, and the stigmas that they face, and different laws which support men and women. Whereas on the flip side, if we were talking, let's say, domestic violence now, the laws are stronger for women, as opposed to kind of like a little bit weaker for men, basically, where it comes to DV, depending on a case to case kind of like a review. Really goes by case to case. So that was my experience. But same way, you know what? I love education. I love learning. I think I'm gonna almost probably, go into teaching at some time in my life, in my career. I buzz off it. So even though I'm putting out a positive, yet it was a negative experience, I suppose. Um, Live out here, that's cool. Um, I encourage one and all to, go for your dreams, educate yourselves, man, seriously. Read, ask questions. Don't be afraid of rejection. Um, I was rejected. Like I say, I applied for 4 universities. I'll tell you a quick story. I applied, obviously, my social work first, BA, and one of the universities was, let me get this right, UOB, the University of Birmingham, the real one, the red brick one, Russell Group. So basically, I applied for them and 3 other universities, and I really had my heart set on, UOB. I didn't hear nothing, nothing, and Wolverhampton, they accepted me, and I said, you know what, I can't gamble, like, I'm just going to go for Wolverhampton. Went for Wolverhampton, literally on the course for like a month or so. What happened? I think I seen an email from UOB, and I literally ignored it, For 3 years, I got my degree from Wolverhampton University, give thanks. This job that I was telling you about that I applied for the psychological well-being practitioner, and I had to go back to university, was actually me going back to the University of Birmingham to study at postgraduate, let alone undergraduate. Again, academic styles are very different between Wolverhampton, and Wolverhampton was known as a polytechnic college or university, and had to something about status of university status you have to go through or something like that from a college. That's what Wolverhampton pretty much done. Birmingham University, it's a red brick university. It's a proper university. It has a campus. It has a life. Literally, literally, Birmingham University is sick. I loved my time there, man, and I was a postgraduate student, only there for like for once, twice a week or something like that. But yeah, memories of University of Birmingham. Anyway, I went for registration for my new course, my postgraduate course, and they were like, "Oh, you come here before?" I was like, "You what? No, I haven't." And they were like, "Yeah, you're on the systems. Yeah, you were accepted, but you didn't turn up for some reason on a social work course." I was like, "No way." Nonetheless, everything's for a reason anyway. But yeah, I finally did get into Birmingham, University of Birmingham. That's why I say, like, it starts with yourself. Bridging, sistering, and be careful what you wish for as well. But if you desire something in life, 100% go for it. That's my educational kind of like journey from pretty much. I was always something, but non-educated, let's say, in this system, to educated, professional, earning decent money. Never really hungry, to be fair. And I don't think I ever will be, even if I was to lose two of my legs and two arms, I will still be able to practice. And hopefully that doesn't happen, but I could, as long as I got my brain, my mouth, yeah, I could most 100% do both jobs, both professions as well. So that's my experience. I hope it answers questions. I hope it provokes some thoughts as well. I think this has been one of the longest videos I've ever done, really. I'm just chatting bare-ish, but somebody asked for it, yeah. They've obviously asked for it for a reason. Hopefully I've answered questions which may have been out of there. But like I say, this was just my experience through the UK educational system as a black male. Hit subscribe, like, notifications, please, please, please. And just continue to share the love, man. I swear down, man, I'm loving the feedback that's coming back, man. The women, exceptional. Man, them, get on it, blood. Come on, man. I know, you know what the man them do? They text me, or they'll phone me, yo, blood, yo, ratchet thing, Put it on here, bro. Come on, man. Put it on here, man. Support the team. Yeah? Support the team. Trust me. Man, them, bless up. Women, them, bless up. People, them, bless up. Rasta reason, CBT.